The Broken Bow Savages come into this season with some very high expectations off of their semifinal appearance a year ago. If you checked out our website, they are number one in our Class 4A preseason rankings, and they open up the season by going on the road to take on the McAlester Buffaloes. We're joined by their head coach, Maverick Lang, now. And, Coach, this is a season opener where you're going on the road, tough environment, really good football team. I know that there are very high expectations for the Savages coming into this season, and we get to see what you guys are about against really good competition right out of the gate.
Yeah, and that's something we look forward to being tested right out of the gate. Like you said, real good environment to be in for our kids to be in, put them in that type of stressful environment. Really good team, well coached up team. They're big up front on both sides of the ball, and the athletes they put on the field's going to stretch you a little bit. So, yeah, we're eager to play really good competition and kind of gauge where we're at. It's easy. It's better to gauge where you're at against a really competitive team and talented team than try to get a morale game going. So we're excited about the challenge we get and kind of see where we are as a football program after one game.
Talking about some of the players to watch, I tried to start this part of it with anybody else other than your quarterback, and I can't do it. We're putting out a ton of 2027 content this week. And your quarterback, Graydon Howell, is one of those top 2027 prospects. You got a couple of them, but Graydon obviously leads the charge, committed to the University of Oklahoma. And look, he's earned everything that he's gotten over the last couple of seasons. And you and I have talked about him a handful of times. So instead of asking you, like, hey, Graydon is great, right? Like we already know that. So tell me something that we don't know about Graydon Howe, because we know how special of an athlete he is. We know how special of a kid he is, but is there something that we don't know about your fantastic senior quarterback?
As much as microscope he's been under the last couple of years, I think it's probably everything has been touched on. But I'll reiterate the off the field stuff with him. Great teammate, great leader for us, and what he brings. Because people obviously see him on Fridays, but they don't see what he brings to us Monday through Thursday, and how he instills leadership and makes everybody around him accountable and better kids, even down to our freshman kids. They look up to him, not because of, obviously they look up to him who he is as an athlete and what he produces on the football field, but they look up to him as a human being, a young man in our football program that does stuff the right way.
Now, you have almost a month of practice under your belt. You had the preseason scrimmage last week. How has the team looked, knowing what the expectations coming into this season have been? And look, a lot of that is because of the outside noise, right? I'm sure you don't talk about that in the building, but at the same time, we're talking about teenage kids. They're on social media. They see this stuff all the time. They know what the expectations are, and they know what everybody anticipates from them this season. What have you seen from your ball club managing those expectations through the first several weeks of practice and then last week in the scrimmage?
Yeah, and that's one thing we talk about. We've talked about a lot since we've got going, and even over summer and spring. Really, there's a lot of expectations on us, but only expectations that matter is the guys within this building, and our kids have bought into that, and they also got a clear understanding that the success from last year doesn't carry over. Only thing this team's accomplished so far this year is we've had a good spring, a good summer, and a good 2.5 week start to our season this year. Kids have bought into that. They understand that none of them stats carry over, none of the success. Only thing that carries over is the experience that we're bringing into this year. And then obviously confidence from the season, the past season. But our kids, mentality wise, have really embraced that. And we've seen it's really affected how they've attacked the day in practice in the weight room. So we're excited, and just like us coaches, our kids are excited to actually play for real this Friday.
Let's talk about Friday night's game. You go on the road to face the McAlester Buffaloes. We know what to expect from your quarterback when he has the football in his hands, but he's not alone. There's a reason why you guys have such high expectations coming into this season. It's not just the quarterback, it's what you have around him as well on both sides of the ball. Who do you expect to shine on Friday? I mean, look, football is the ultimate team sport, but talk to us about some of the guys that, have had a good fall camp that you expect to have good performances on Friday night.
Yeah, and I'll start with our guys up front. Obviously, we got really good athletes running around, and our offensive linemen, they don't get the recognition, just like any offensive lineman, they don't get the recognition they deserve. And our kids know it. We harp on it. I don't try to favoritism any position, but we do show a little more favoritism to our big guys up front because they just don't get it as much as our skill kids. But those guys, all the success we have and will have comes from those five guys up front on the offensive side of the ball. Skill wise, obviously we expect Dejon Hall to have a huge impact for us. Khalil Flagg, second year starter, they're both in the same class. Uh, then we got Blake Skelton, our backup quarterback, also going to play some starter receiver. And then we got Stouter Brown and uh, Braden Burks rotating in there, two sophomores. But one big one, Riker Prince. We expect big things from him, and he'll kind of have a breakout. We're expecting him to have a breakout season this year and kind of put himself on the map because he's dynamic. We're going to move him around. He can play any one of those skill positions, and he will play every one of them skill positions. And what he brings from a talent standpoint and physicality standpoint on the defense side of the ball. But yeah, we're excited to, and then hopefully we can share the ball around enough to where every one of them kids are able to drastically affect the game.
Let's talk about the Buffaloes because you guys played them last season. You were able to get the win. And for McAlester, they ended up kind of stumbling out of the gate. Look, they played a very difficult schedule early on, but then they finished strong. And now coming into this season, it's year two for head coach Jeff Craig after taking over this program last season. And I gotta know that McAlester is going to look significantly different this year than they did at this time last year.
Oh yeah, and we not too often do you get to see your week zero opponent at team camp. So we've seen him at team camp. So we have a bunch of, and like they got a bunch of film on us, and they've been around us a lot going into this week. But you can tell this year two for them on both sides of football, which they're a well coached up team. They're operating like somebody that would be in year two on both sides of the ball schematically. Kids are flying around. They got a good understanding of what they're trying to do. Uh, so yeah, they're going to stretch you because they're well coached. It's year two, and they're big up front and got real good skill kids running around. But yeah, you can tell it's year two for them in their system.
Yeah, you mentioned the skill kids, and when I look at this matchup, it's really, a lot of that is very intriguing to me because when I look at what you guys bring to the table, which there's a lot of skill talent there, you mentioned them, but at the same time, McAlester also brings some absolute freaks at the skill positions and guys that have come off the basketball court, put some pads on, and they're just absolute athletes on the football field. How do you go about containing those freaks, whether it's a Davian Pouncil at the tight end position or a hybrid tight end who's like 6'5" and can jump out of the gym. Rodney Washington, who's one of the best basketball players in the state. I mean, this McAlester offense, they have dudes and they have athletic freaks on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and yeah, they do. And they good size rangy guys on the perimeter. And that's what our kids, we have to stay consistent because all it takes when you're playing teams with that type of skill level, one little slip up or you don't do your job once, and then they can take it 60 on you and score in a big play. So our kids know we got to be consistent in the technique we play and how we play every play because all it takes when you're playing a team like that is one snap of the football, and it can be an explosive play that'll hurt you.
Hey, here's a really dumb question for you, Coach. This game has been moved back an hour to an 8 o'clock kickoff. Obviously, Mother Nature has not cooperated here in the month of August. And look, I mean, look, it's Oklahoma and it's August. It's always going to be hot. It's been unbearably hot this year. But you guys kicking it off at 8 o'clock on Friday night. Does that do anything different or change things much when it comes to the game day preparation? Because look, I know you coaches, I know the player, like I know these teams, and you guys want to stick to a schedule and to the same flow of things, especially on game day. What does pushing kickoff back an hour do?
Yeah, and yesterday after we were done meeting towards the end, we put together a itinerary and we was talking about it, and I made the comment I'm gonna feel like we're rushed because we're gonna be so much late. Even though it's 30 minutes later on stuff, I'm gonna constantly look down at my watch and feel like we're behind just because an 8 o'clock start. So yeah, Will. What's good is it's the first game, so our kids aren't fully into the groove of things. To how what time we take the field, what time we leave, load the bus, and feed them. But we're able to feed them like a home game. because we won't leave here till later, obviously. Uh, so there will be some changes outside of the coaches feeling rushed when they look down and see what time it is. I think it won't be as bad just because it's not like middle of the season. Our kids are stuck in their routine, but it does play some because you're kind of creatures by habit when you look at the time slot of everything.
Yeah, see, that's why I asked the question because I know
Yeah.
you coaches and look, I'm the same way to a certain extent as well. Looking at this game, and we mentioned this at the top, where it's a marquee game to kick off the season, and you mentioned like the things that you can take away from a game like this versus a team that maybe you take care of business, the game's really over by halftime, early in the third quarter, and you just kind of coast to a win. This game, it's going to test you for all four quarters. What's one thing that you want to learn about your ball club on Friday night against McAlester?
Yeah, the main thing, and obviously you get a little bit in a scrimmage, which is good going into a hostile environment with good competition, is the functionality part of offense and defense. Like, can we get on and off the field? Can we get the signals in clean, line up? The stuff between them, we've been harping that with our kids is we got to obviously be good from snap to whistle, but we also have to be clean and efficient from whistle to the next snap. And those are things that are big in the first games, kind of get back in the groove of that. Uh, Obviously, your condition is going to be tested a little bit early. That 30-minute start does help with the weather a little bit, but it's not going to, you can't run from it or hide from it conditioning wise at even at 8 o'clock on Friday night. But those things, we're making sure we're uh, physically blocking and being able to run the football. And then we're violently getting to the football, making plays and making tackles because we don't tackle much, obviously, in practice. We had live tackling Thursday night or a scrimmage, but tackling is another one, getting guys to the ground. And obviously, really good athletes to the ground is another thing that we got to make sure we focus on.
It's a big game to open up the 2026 season, one of our top 10 games of the week. Looking forward to have one of our shooters in the house as well. So we'll have game highlights of this matchup on our Prep Red Zone Oklahoma YouTube channel following the game. Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck this season and good luck on Friday night.
Appreciate it.
That's Broken Bow head coach Maverick Lang joining us for the Broken Bow practice report here on the Prep Red Zone Oklahoma YouTube channel every single day during the week, Monday through Friday at noon. We'll have a new practice report. You can go back and check out our first two from this week. On Monday, we talked with Jones head coach Jeremy Reed before their big matchup against Lincoln Christian. Yesterday, we had Bixby head coach Lauren Montgomery before their matchup on the road against the Owasso Rams. Later in the week, we will also be talking with Cascia Hall head coach Joe Medina and Mangum head coach Sam Powers. So be sure to check back in throughout the week, every single day, Monday through Friday at noon for a new practice report. That's something new that we're doing this season on the Prep Red Zone Oklahoma YouTube channel. Also, something new that we're doing this season are more game highlights than ever before. So this week, we'll have game highlights from Thursday night's game between Jones and Lincoln Christian. On Friday night, we will be seeing the Broken Bow Savages in person as they will take on the McAlester Buffaloes. We'll have highlights of that game as well. And then we'll also have highlights from the Choctaw game as they host Mustang on Friday night. So 3 games covered with highlights, full highlights, post-game interaction as well. You'll be able to check those out right here on the Prep Red Zone Oklahoma YouTube channel. And then be sure to join us on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. We did a 2026 season preview show last Saturday. We went live here on the YouTube channel. This week at 10 a.m., we will have our week 0 recap right here as we'll go live. We'll take your questions. We'll talk about all the top stories, all the top performances from Thursday and Friday night across the state of Oklahoma. And even in some of the surrounding states as well, we have some marquee games going on featuring Oklahoma schools in Arkansas, down in Texas this week as well. So we'll be breaking all of that down on Saturday morning at noon. So one final time for Maverick Lang and the Broken Bow Savages, I'm Michael Knight. This has been the Broken Bow Practice Report. We'll see you tomorrow at noon as we talk Cascia Hall football with head coach Joe Medina.